We're all looking for that breakout running back. That running back in the middle rounds, the later rounds, that blows up, that can be our RB1, and we have them stacked with one of the stud running backs we drafted earlier in our draft, or just having 3 of them now because we went RB heavy, and we can put that guy in our flex. And next thing you know, we're dominating our league, and we're trying to find those gems with every single stone that we unturn. And one of those stones that everybody's been looking at from spring going on after the NFL draft has been RJ Harvey, landing with the Broncos, a very exciting players. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, to see whether or not you want to draft him for your fantasy football team. Whether or not you need him, you're going to figure out today, because we're going to cover everything right here. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're talking about these players every day. We're doing deep dives. We're doing rankings. We're going to help you set your lineups. We're going to cover advanced data every single day. And then on top of that, we're going to find those gems off the waiver wire, going deeper than everybody else. Click that button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. Do not disappoint Ric Flair. RJ Harvey, big-time prospect. Big-time prospect. And this is a guy that has been electric throughout the process, throughout training camp, minicamp, OTAs. You just keep hearing good things from Sean Payton, good things from Bo Nix and everything else. RJ Harvey's been getting it done. He looks the part. You watch the clips on my channel from training camp, minicamp, OTAs, and you're excited about him. And now it's time to see whether or not you're going to pony up for him in your drafts. But coming out of high school, 3-star prospect, dual QB, 4.41 40-yard dash. And you're looking at a guy here that was under-recruited. Nobody thought we'd make it to this level back in 2019. Nobody thought we would get here, because you're looking at the schools after him: Georgia Tech, ECU, App State, Jacksonville State, Virginia, not the Alabamas, not the Ohio States. So he climbed the ladder. He circumvented the odds. And at UCF, when we got there, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in 2023 and 2024. Obviously, from what you saw from the recruiting profile, we had to climb our way up the depth chart, get our opportunities. We had an ACL issue in 2021. But you're looking at the yards after contact per attempt: 3.88, 3.56, 3.57, 3.68 on his career. Solid. Looking at 2023, 11.2 yards after the catch per reception, 9.9 last year. That's an indicator that if we have space in front of us, catching the ball out in the flat, that we're going to eat up chunks of yards. Averaging 10 on his career with that number, 2.5 last year. Indicator that he's running routes downfield, usually average depth of targets pushing around 0. For some running backs, it will be in the negatives. So he's getting targets downfield. That is indicated on the tape as well here. So these last 2 years, we've been one of the better running backs in college football. 22 touchdowns last year on the ground, 16 the year prior, getting some work in the passing game. When you're the whole offense on the run, usually your workload in the pass, a lot of times, not all the time, is a little bit decreased because you're getting all the work on the ground. But that being said, he's effective in the passing game. They're looking to use him in the passing game. That's been noted. That's been noted in clips. That's what we've been seeing here. That injury in 2021, that's one of the reasons why it took a little bit longer for him, because he had to come back from that. That's something to pay attention to. Not for this year, but pay attention to when it comes to his prospect profile, because he is an older running back prospect, but you do also have reasons baked in there. We weren't highly recruited out of high school. We have an ACL issue. But what you also want to think about that, yes, he is older, but he had this and this happen, and we had that dog in us, and we were able to come back from that and still be productive for 2023 and 2024. That is what you want to look at there. And he was also dominant. 200 yards against Oklahoma State. Rang up Iowa State, Arizona, TCU, Cincinnati, Memphis. You could say there's no big-time schools in there. I see Oklahoma in there, 101 yards on them. But that's just the conference he played in. But you go check the tape. It's not just the numbers. You go check the tape. you'll get excited. He's explosive. He's got wiggle. He's got vision. He's catching the ball downfield. This is a running back that we were watching throughout the draft process. I had him in my rankings at a spot before the draft saying, hey, if he goes where it says the NFL likes him, that team pulled the trigger on him, and you can tell he was going to be a major focal point of that team, I'm going to buy in heavily because this is one of my favorite prospects that happened. Sean Payton had the same feelings as me, drafted him in the second round. That being said, you got good speed, you got size, and the size here, he's a shorter running back. So you see 205, and you think, oh, he's a smaller guy. Nah, bro, he's thick. He's a thick running back prospect. He's compact. Metrically, compares to Chase Brown. Best comparable metrically. Size-adjusted athleticism, production metrics, all rolled in together. And he can be used in a passing game. He can be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. 43.8% dominator rating. 96th percentile among running backs. That being said, that's elite productivity. 9.3% target share. Work in the passing game. 75th percentile among running backs. 6.8 yards per carry. 91st percentile among running backs out of college. That's something to pay attention to. Those are all good numbers. 88th percentile burst scored. So combining the long jump and the vertical together, you got that speed score, 91st percentile. So putting that 205, 5'8" next to that 40-yard dash, comparing it to the other running backs, we're 91st percentile. Good size, adjusted athleticism. Sean Payton's glowing about him. He saw the tape, and he wanted Ashton Genty. He wanted those top backs. He knew he wasn't in place to get that. And he saw the tape of RJ Harvey, and he kept his mouth shut. He was so excited.
He was, in the early part of this process, man, everyone had seen the skill set of Genty, and he's a fabulous player. And then you're, all right, if that's unrealistic, which obviously where he was selected, everyone knew we were hoping to get it back. Man, where are we falling in love with somebody? And you really try to just go through each one with an open mind. And I can remember the afternoon. I can't remember what afternoon, but I can remember the 2 hours on this player. And then it was like, all right, be quiet.
The fact that he loves RJ Harvey so much is very exciting. And also, you just think about the running backs from over the years, how productive they were, how he implemented those rookie running backs. Like, you think about that Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram split, but you also wonder, like, how is he going to be implemented because he is a rookie, pass protection, everything else.
It's all about trust when it comes to pass protection and running backs. So at what point will you be able to know that you trust Harvey in pass pro? Does it take all the...
Yeah, well, when you think about this, and look, Sproles, Kamara, there's a lot of different backs we've had that we can create different protections to make sure that the matchup's right. We'll have a handful of different, because I know the question, is he a 3-down back? Well, he's going to play on third down. But he could play on third down where the tight end is in protection. So there's a lot we can do relative to really suit his strengths. And it would happen occasionally with Darren where, I'd say to him, hey, every once in a while you might get matched up on Navarro Bowman or Willis, and I'm not going to make a habit of doing that, but if you watch his stature, and he's put together pretty well. So there's a difference between a small runner and a short runner. We're not interested in the small runners, but we're okay with the short runners.
The fact that he's looking at using him on third down, but as a receiver out of the backfield and not keeping him in there to pass protect, that's what was stated pretty much from that, and how he's just going to just take advantage of his skill set, which is smart, especially while he's adapting to the NFL game. New system, pass protection, everything else, how things are different, and just playing to his strengths. That is a very encouraging asset when you're looking at how Sean Payton's looking at RJ Harvey, and you're looking at what Sean Payton did with like Sproles back in the day, Alvin Kamara, all the other running backs. You're looking at this depth chart here. You got J.K. Dobbins brought in. He looked at the running backs there and was like, hey, we're not getting it done. We got RJ Harvey. I like him a lot. He's still a rookie. Let's bring in J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins had a good year last year with the Chargers. He was solid. He was good. Come back from a lot of injuries, and we were rooting for him. From what this looks like, we're getting a reincarnation of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. Different players. But you got your veteran running back there. He's going to take a lot of the touches, get his opportunities, but RJ Harvey's going to get the money work. He's going to be getting some opportunities. He's explosive. He's been looking solid. J.K. Dobbins was solid last year. Solid. After all those injuries, was able to put together 5 RB1 weeks, 2 RB2 weeks. He was able to do that, averaging 14.8 points per game. He had some big runs. Started off the season hot. Then we got hit up with an injury. That's J.K. Dobbins. On the flip side, when you have a rookie running back, you kind of want them to learn the game, especially the NFL speed, with a buffer back with them. Especially if you're looking long-term in dynasty. It's nice to get the production and the touches now, especially when you see the talent. However, you're still learning the speed of the game. You're still learning the final nuances, some things that you may not be thinking about, steps in the backfield, getting ready for the game, the pacing of play, everything else. And that being said, that first year, maybe even year and a half or so, having that buffer with you, taking away some of that load will help your longevity, because while you're learning, those are less opportunities to make bad decisions as well. That being said, eventually he's going to ramp up and explode. Eventually. And that could be week 1, because he's got the talent for that. But that's just saying something globally for all rookie running backs. Like, even if there's a buffer back there, it's to aid them to develop. As you're looking at what these running backs did last year for the Broncos, they did not have a 1,000-yard rusher. That was eating at Sean Payton. They did not have an Alvin Kamara. They didn't even have a Mark Ingram. Javonte Williams is with the Cowboys, and we got to see if he can come back to what he was prior to that injury. But we're looking at Jaleel McLaughlin. Okay yards per carry. Audric Esme. Yeah, he's not elite. He was good at Notre Dame, but he's not elite. You're looking at this backfield here. They needed to make some changes. They needed to add something to that. And those 2 transactions of drafting RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, meaning they're moving forward. They're moving forward from this. Rookie ramp-ups are real. This should be included in your analysis with him. And it's different with every running back. Every single running back. But the thing is, it's not like, hey, he might get a rookie ramp-up, I shouldn't draft him. It's more like, hey, he might have a rookie ramp-up, and I should know about that, because from my end of this is, remember Devin Achane, when he blew up those 3 weeks, weeks 3, 4, 5, I kept getting questions, weeks 1 and 2, whether or not he should be dropped that whole time. But that's a high-end rookie running back. And when you make that investment in your draft, whether it's a double-digit round pick or where RJ Harvey's going in drafts, you have to understand that there could be a ramp-up period before the breakout happens. And that breakout could be nuclear, or it could be very good, but more to come in the second year. That being said, what you saw from Devin Achane and what I was experiencing is a lot of people asking to drop him during that time, because you're getting a lot of nada during that. And you got to understand, weird things happen. Coaches are older. They're a little bit crusty. They're a little bit conservative. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. If you can't handle that, do not draft these rookies at high price tags. Just don't do it. Just take the conservative route and get that player, that veteran player, that will still score good fantasy production. Because what you're chasing here is that breakout, those big performances. Like Jahmyr Gibbs, what you're looking for is what you're getting week 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16 there. And Devin Achane, week 3, 4, 5, 13, 17, those blow-up weeks. Those blow-up weeks. You did not get one from Saquon, but I can show you thousands of charts. You're going to see a lot of ramp-up periods. You're going to see those top running backs going off, some of them ramping up. But the thing is to note, it is in the cards. It's in the cards. And you got to understand, it's not just player good, player bad, but also how you play the game. And you have to understand, you have to be patient. And I can't tell you if player A is going to go off week 3, 7, or 10. I can tell you that it's a likely probability RJ Harvey's going off this year for a string of games. 4 or 5 games, RB1 potential, you're looking at 25-ish fantasy points per game on those blow-off top weeks. I do not know when it's going to start. Week 1, Week 3, Week 10, Week 12, Week 18. I don't know. But I can tell you that there's high probability that it's going to happen, and he's going to be able to take over this offense and be a key part. It's a high probability. He could start off the season sharing with J.K. Dobbins. It could look like Jahmyr Gibbs' chart there. Next thing you know, Week 7 could be looking like Jahmyr Gibbs' chart 4. It could be looking like that. And we know where Jahmyr Gibbs is at now. I'm not making comparables, but the range of outcomes are likely you're going to get some green candlesticks out of him. But there's a chance in the realm of possibilities that you might be having to hold on tight to him. If you can't handle that with the mindset and you do not strategize around that with the later picks, maybe picking up a couple veteran running backs, maybe making sure you're anchored good at running back before you pick them up, that's also on you and your gamesmanship. It's not just player good, player bad. You have to know what you're drafting. You have to know. You can't watch the title of this video and be like, okay, I'm drafting. I'm telling you good and bad. It's also your strategy with these rookies. And if you have bad strategy, if you're a person that catches FOMO, if you're not patient, these rookies are not for you. They're a dangerous game because you could drop them right before the breakout. You might feel good dropping them and picking up for that running back that's getting you like 10 points per game. But if that breakout happens, which is a high probability, that's going to burn you up. And that's worse than sitting on a player that doesn't hit. That's going to be a worse feeling. That's going to be a horrible feeling because you just threw away your league. A few people did that with Devin Achan. Even though he had those out weeks. But those 3 weeks would have been 3 wins. Especially that week 3 performance. That was a win. And then week 13, week 17. Then those 2 weeks right there, week 14 and 18, double-digit weeks. Week 18, your season's more likely over. But a lot of people play on week 18 now. A lot of people, especially starting now when week 17 is starting to look like week 18 anyways. A lot of people are moving to that. But you're looking at the chart here. Round 6 on Underdog. And it's probably very comparable to home league drafts. And home league drafts right now, people are watching these videos. They're watching content creators. Some people might pull up on him a little bit sooner after the preseason games. Running back FOMO hits home league drafts a little bit harder. Also, rookies could be faded. If you catch this draft capital, just look at the opportunity costs around you. Because behind them, typically Tony Pollard, Caleb Johnson, Dave Montgomery, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. You have veteran production behind them. You do have another rookie, similar draft capital a little later. You also got Jordan Addison, Jaden Reed, Khalil Shakir. Wide receiver is thinning out. That being said, before you get to this point, you need 2 things. You need to be good at running back, and you also need to be good at wide receiver, which is going to be kind of hard to do because you're around the 6th, 5th round, depending on where you're at. You do need to be anchored down at running back. This will allow you to combat the rookie ramp up while you're waiting on him. If you can catch a second, cool. But also, wide receivers thinning out in this part of the draft, and you want to make sure you're good at wide receiver. This is the part of the draft where you're also looking at a fork in the road because we're also going to mix in the 5th round running backs with this because on home league drafts, running backs jump up the board a little bit, and it's really dependent on draft. But you're also looking at Alvin Kamara, James Conner, Chuba Hubbard, Isaiah Pacheco, Swift. So you kind of got a veer here, a fork in the road, where you're looking at the rookie running backs, Trevion Henderson included, where you can go with one of those rookies, and that's going to alter your strategy in the double-digit rounds because then you're going to have to pull up on one of those veteran running backs a couple rounds later to get some stabilization to the start of your season just in case. So you're looking at that. Or you go with one of those veteran running backs, Chuba, Alvin, Connor, Swift, whatever, your flavor. Your flavor, what comes at you. And then in the double-digit rounds, you're probably looking at another extra lottery ticket running back to get you that upside play. And there's a lot of them this year. This was a very deep rookie running back class. Probably the deepest of all time, especially compared to last year. Last year, if you've been following my channel, if for comparison's sake, we had about like 4 or 5 fantasy-worthy, waiver wire topic-esque running backs. Today, this year, We're going to have about 20. And the waiver wire is going to be hot this year at the running back position. There's just so many talented running backs waiting to get their opportunity. And it's just going to happen left and right, especially when injuries hit. In the last 2 seasons, injuries have been a little bit lighter at the running back position. Teams have been operating more running back by committee. But that being said, the injury rate could revert back to the rolling average of the last 5 years unless it's creating a new average from the last 2. That is something to pay attention to. Underdog ADP has him roughly the same. He has done nothing to tail off, and he's been solid. He's been priced up there all along. He might price up, though, because he did score a touchdown in the last preseason game. Watching that for ADP, I think he's a rock-solid running back. I think you're going to catch a lot of people in the comments section saying he's a rock-solid running back. I look for him to take J.K. Dobbins' lunch. The betting here with the ADP, people putting their hard-earned cash right now on the ADP. Because when I look at this ADP, I know people are putting money on this. There's money put down on this. And people are betting on RJ Harvey. 6th round best ball. Best ball, redraft, all different. But you can strategize around that. RJ Harvey's a guy to look at. He's an elite talent. He's a top talent. Eventually he will get his opportunity. And that could be week 1. And he will go blast off. The probabilities are high that he's going to go blast off this year. But it is in the range of outcomes that you might have to wait. There's risk with that. If you can't handle that, don't get him. If you can handle that, and you know what you're getting into, yes. Do you absolutely need him? There's a lot of opportunity costs around him when you're looking at veteran running backs. Wide receiver is thing out. I do suggest, if you like him, have him circled off on your draft sheets before the draft and strategize around him. If you're going like 0 RB build or something like that and he's your RB1, I'd be kind of scared. If you're kind of weaker at running back and he's one of your top guys, I'd be kind of scared to start the season. I want to make sure I'm build at the top, and I want to make sure I get a couple veterans later too that's getting some touches that can give me that insurance policy to start off the season just in case there's a rookie ramp up. I also want a lot of lottery tickets this year, so I want to make sure that does not prevent me from getting lottery tickets in those double-digit rounds. But I do like him. I do like him a lot. But I do want to stress out strategy over player good, player bad. That is mainly my take on this channel when it comes to all these videos. Make sure you're strategized well. You got your plans in place to take these players, especially these rookies, these upside players, the start of your drafts. It's not just here RB, 0 RB, but knowing the player pools. Knowing the player pools. That is it. Knowing where the players drop off in talents. Wide receiver drops off immensely before the double-digit rounds. Running back has a lot of lottery ticket options in the double-digit rounds. There are a few veterans in those double-digit rounds that you can lean on to. If you take one of the higher-priced lottery tickets like RJ Harvey, Hendo, or even Caleb Johnson, we will have a video on Caleb Johnson soon. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.